My name is Sarah, and I have been in the industry for about five years or so. I went to Cal Poly in San Luis Obispo, and I then went and worked with Johnson Controls. I was an intern and evolved over the 5-year period, worked in all different areas of the business, building automation, HVAC, and security, which for physical security, that's where I started. It's the closest to my heart, and luckily is now where I landed. I live in Los Angeles, and 27 years old, and love what I do. So I joined Alcatraz about 2 months ago, a month ago. I can't even tell what day it is these days because it's been going so quick and I'm loving it so much. I'm the director of channel sales, and so before working with Alcatraz, we were a partner. I was working as an integrator, and I was on a mission to debunk and find the best solution in the industry for frictionless access control due to COVID-19 and everything that's going on in this world. I was also involved in our COVID-19 task force at JCI, and as part of my discovery and all my technology calls that we were doing, Alcatraz was one of the 8 solutions that we were looking at with my end users. And Alcatraz is a company I knew about for a while. I mean, they've had a great buzz in the industry. And when I really learned what they did and what they had, I felt a feeling that I had never felt before in the 5 years of being an integrator. And I've been exposed to many different technologies and solutions. And I was always kind of known as, the tough cookie when it came to siding with the technology and putting my name to something. And I always wanted to give my clients an A, B, and C option because I never wanted to make somebody feel like they had to use just one solution. But with Alcatraz, it was a game changer. I mean, what they brought to me with an 8-in-1 technology that worked, I was mind blown. So in about 36 hours, I realized there was an opportunity for me to join them, and I took the opportunity, which was an amazing, amazing decision. I'm never gonna look back. So I'm very happy where I landed. I think that I can predict the future. I love thinking and being a few steps ahead of everybody. I guess you might call it a control scenario, but really, I just like to be prepared. And I do believe that there are times where I was able to predict certain things happening and they did indeed occur as I thought. So that would be my superpower. Love that question because, I've been exposed to a lot of different technologies in this market when it comes to building systems and building efficiency. And first off, if it wasn't for Johnson Controls, I would have never had the exposure that I have today with learning everything that we can do with a building. And it sounds silly, but technology in buildings for me is extremely interesting. And with physical security, what I found is out of the different solutions that we can offer, it's the most technologically advanced. There are definitely rules we have to follow, although the sky is truly the limit. And when it comes to integration and it comes to building, operational efficiencies, there's so many ways in which we can enable our security teams and our people in our buildings to make their lives easier and better and protect our people. So to me, physical security is where it's at. And I believe that with the technology we're developing, there's truly a massive future for innovation with that part of the industry. I really wish that the security industry, was more software and innovative around our solutions and how we evolve. I wish that, when you buy a system, that you realize the way you buy it isn't going to be the same way it is in 3 years, because technology is evolving every 2 to 3 years. When we build data centers, the technology we design the data center with is typically getting retrofitted, because by the time we're opening, the new technology is already out. So what I wish I saw more of was an understanding of that. And the reason why I say SaaS is because it's a way in which we can accomplish the evolution and keep up with the evolution of the technology while still making a really good investment up front. It's such a hard question for me because there's so many things I want to do all the time. And, for me in 5 years, the way I see it, I see myself still being with Alcatraz. I see myself leading a team. I see myself driving the industry. And I also see myself potentially, having my own consulting business, that relates to expectation and vision management. That is something I believe is so important when it comes to this industry, whether it's construction, development, engineering. The end users are the most important. And to me, making sure we're aligning with their goals is key to our success. And so that's why I believe down the line, 5 years from now, I would love to see my expectation management firm launched. But to be honest, I do also see myself continuing to evolve with Alcatraz and growing within this company as well. I love that question because personally, I have a business operations background. I studied industrial technology in college, which involved manufacturing, sales, all these different things we do in industry. And for me, what I learned from having that background and seeing, working at Johnson Controls for 5 years and being in corporate America and then going to a tech startup and working with all different types of end users. For 3 years, I was focused on really large construction projects. We call connected technologies, where you do big system integrations where it was end user focused. And what we would do is we would take all the different technology, we would integrate it and give them a smart building. And it sounds really easy, but obviously it's not. And it was a very amazing experience for me because it opened my eyes to how important the end user vision is. And so when it comes to how to get to the end user and how to speak with the end user and how to drive a conversation with the person who's going to be turning the lights on every day and the person who's going to be using all the audio visual in that building, having the right technology to, enable the conversation. What I mean by technology is solutions to show the end user the value in taking part of that conversation. And what I mean by that is, going back to my business operations background, how do we create efficiencies not only in the building and the HVAC and the amount of CO2 in the air, but how do we create actual operational efficiencies for how the people operating the building are waking up every day and going to work? How are we going to make those lives easier? What are we going to do with the technology to enable them to protect their building more or run the building better, save more energy? And so what I would look for quite often in the technology was I would look for solutions that had a lot of analytics, data, things that we can give to the end user that goes beyond just buying a solution, where they can take the data and they can then create more efficiencies in their operational workflows of how they're running a building. So for me, when it comes to talking to the end user, it's a very convoluted process, to be honest, because in construction, you don't often get the end user sitting at a table with you. You either have an owner's representative or you have a general contractor that's representing the owner for you, or potentially an architect and an engineer. So I had to face that every day because my clients were engineers, architects, developers, and the consultants. But by being able to bring the message to them, I was able to get their ears to perk to realize maybe we should have the owner in this meeting. Maybe the owner should be involved, because these decisions that need to be made or things that we're proposing, solutions that we're trying to offer, the owner is going to be the one interacting with it. When an owner goes into a building, when the building's done being built, they don't lay on the carpet to see how soft it is. And no offense to the flooring people, but the truth is that they turn a light switch on and they turn it off. And if that doesn't work, they care more about that. You're going to hear more about that than the steel we use to build the building. Unless the building starts tipping, right? All those guts within is what they're interacting with. So my message to those in-between consultants and contractors was, hey, let's make this owner focused and centric. So if we can determine our winning, metric of do the lights turn on and off, and we can find out what that is day one, then we will know we've then delivered a successful project if we are going to meet that end game expectation.